What do you think, Damien? Lessons learned, good performance otherwise? Bit of a mad few minutes.
How many lessons have we learned? You know what I mean? Stephen said afterwards, it's just one of those things. It's not just one of those things. When you look at his track record for the last 2 years, there's been several of those things, you know? And you can say quite easily, lessons learned. But when are we going to start learning them? When are we going to start winning games that we should win? And I know we won tonight, but I'm talking about the Scotland game. And tonight, should have just started out comfortably, 2-3-0. And we had a whole package of clips of good Ireland play. Right, with Stephen saying it's a good performance. Performance is over 95 minutes when you take in injury time. You can't just chop it off at 70 and restart it again at 80 and say, well, it was a good performance. 10 minutes is in the game. You don't just get to forget about that. That's part of the performance, you know. And if
do you think the manager's too positive about Ireland's performances in his post-match interviews in general?
Well, you can't. At some point, you have to say, like, you have to come and say that's unacceptable. You know, what just happened there is unacceptable. We need to work on that. You know, and hold meetings afterwards and stuff. And come on, let the people know that is unacceptable. You can't come out and say it was a really. I think he used some exceptional in one of his an exceptional performance. A performance is 90 minutes. You can't forget about 10 minutes. That's part of the performance.
So should he be in an interview saying Terence strips off his players?
No, not Terence, no.
But making them know that that is not acceptable. What happened in that second? Is that a sort of
what he says in the media is his own business, right?
Yeah.
What he says in the changing room,
well, we don't know that.
We don't know that. So he might be saying that in the changing room. I don't know what type of guy he is, but he comes out and he puts a positive spin on it and has statistics and whatnot, right? It wasn't a good performance, OK? We passed the ball really well. We dominated a team 92nd in the world like we should do. We created chances. It should have been out of sight. But the lack of discipline, the switching off, the moments he's talking about, they shouldn't happen. You know, when a manager
players take responsibility for that.
When a manager has instilled that in his team, you know, we've had a lot of poor moments. If Stephen Kenny was on a really good run and we were finishing really well in tournament, and this was a one-off, you put it down to like, wow, we got it with Ger, lads. We need to remember. But Yerevan was only in June. What lessons did we learn from that? Luxembourg wasn't that long ago. Azerbaijan wasn't that long ago. There's too many of those moments, or one of those things that he calls it. Are we going to get better of it? I think you asked me the other night, would you be confident going into the next qualifying group that starts in March? And I said, no. Do you think that as third seeds going in March against two teams that are ranked higher than us, would you be confident? Absolutely not.